Every river has a source, every ocean has a tide, and every story is shaped by the currents that bring people together. Will and Pam Harte didn't just find each other, they found a shared purpose in conservation, flowing together like headwaters to oceans.
Our commitment to nature is about respecting nature and understanding that there's a plan.
Just leave it alone. Enjoy it.
Pam's story begins in San Antonio, Texas, where she grew up swimming and exploring on the Guadalupe River. Raised by scientist parents and artist grandparents, she learned to appreciate nature's beauty and complexity.
What we would do is build dams all day long. We'd put rocks in and we'd build a dam, and then we would take the rocks away and then we'd build another dam, and then we were always in the river.
Will's story starts in Corpus Christi, Texas, where his childhood was also shaped by a connection to water, his being the Gulf. He spent endless days exploring the coast and enjoying the ever-changing sea.
Went to the beach and went sailing. So I did a lot of sailing in Corpus Christi. I enjoyed that.
These experiences, along with summertime at family ranches across Texas and family trips around the world, rooted a deep respect for nature and future conservation. Will and Pam both earned Bachelor of Science degrees from Texas A&M University. Will studied ranch management, an extension of his upbringing. Pam pursued biology and biochemistry, fascinated by life's intricate systems.
I think my professional development was really driven by the fact that I loved healing, I loved science, I loved medicine, I loved the idea of helping people heal, and animals. We rescued a lot of animals around my place. My mother and I always had baby squirrels that we were rescuing and nurturing. So I think that really affected me.
Two separate lives, shaped by a love for land and water, finally converged when Pam and Will Harte were brought together by visionary conservationist and dear family friend Andy Sansom.
I met Will because we were both interested in bat conservation. I believe my first encounters with Will were when he was living in Bulverde, and we protected Bracken Cave, which is the largest concentration of mammals on the earth. I met Pam because her father and mother had become friends of mine, supporting Texas State University in San Marcos. I had the incredibly good fortune of knowing both of them, and had the honor and the privilege of introducing them, which is something that I cherish as a gift to the state.
After careers in various fields, Will and Pam found themselves returning to the land, not merely as landowners, but as stewards. The Caldwell Ranch became their canvas for conservation, a place where they let nature, not ambition, lead the way.
Yeah, there's no steering committee. There's nothing we can do with that land. We've tried a few things, and they failed miserably because it doesn't rain. And so it's something that is there, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and we just kind of learn to back off and let it be. And it's prospered. The one thing we did add is water. There are 100 different places, 100 different troughs that wildlife can go get a drink, and that thing cuts down on predation, because the lion doesn't get to go to the one place and kill your deer.
So we're very careful there. We don't use a lot of water, we conserve. We're conscious of the situation. We leave natural grasses there as well as we can, and work from that place. At the Caldwell Ranch, what we finally came up with is there could be hunts there for auctions and for organizations that are raising money, but we didn't want to have a hunting lease. And we decided that wildlife there was very important to us. And so we protect all our native species, everybody who's there, from scorpions to horned toads to coyotes to mule deer.
For Will Harte, ranch life has always been a place of learning and adventure. As a child, he explored it alongside Dr. Joe Gardner, a man full of wisdom and stories. Years later, Will passed those same lessons to his 3 kids. Now, with 2 grandkids, the stories live on, shaping new generations.
I'd take them and tell them the same stories and make things up and have fun with them. But it was just a great place to just to be. The stars at night, or the rattlesnake in front of you that you jump out of the way of, or whatever. So I was very lucky.
Like a strengthening current, people thrive when they come together. Pam and Will are facilitators who open Caldwell Ranch to people from all walks of life, guided by a belief in collaboration over competition.
I don't think there's today very few other couples that have expressed the level of conservation philanthropy, of willingness to open their own lives up, to bring diverse groups together to learn about the environmental issues in Texas and to celebrate the incredible natural resource diversity of the state, to tackle its most serious problems, among them water, which is going to be the most daunting natural resource issue of the coming generation.
That's 200 people a year at least come out, various groups that we host for a variety of causes or reasons. So it's an area where people can come out and maybe talk about something that's 1,000 miles away.
We like mixing people. We call it cross-pollination, but we feel like if you get all these different people in the room, conversations are great.
Both Pam and Will serve on boards such as the Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, Gulf of Mexico Trust, and Texas A&M University Press. Will was also a founding member of the South Texas Natives Project at the Cesar Claiborne Wildlife Research Institute. In recognition of her impact, Pam was named a 2025 Texas Women in Conservation honoree by Audubon, Texas, and the Texas Women in Conservation Steering Committee. In 2024, Pam and Will gathered hundreds of people from these organizations and beyond.
So that event in October in Houston was for the Gulf of Mexico Trust and for the Harte Research Institute, for Coastal Conservation Association and Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation. And we have loved partnering with all of those groups. We feel like that's what these groups are doing. They're going out and they have outreach and they have education and they have the opportunity to reach more people.
Pam and Will Harte's commitment to conservation is deeply rooted in their family legacies. Will's parents, Ed and Janet Harte, cemented their impact with a $46 million donation to establish the Harte Research Institute, shaping it into a global leader in ocean and coastal sustainability. Pam's connection to the land runs just as deep. Her grandfather, Buck Schwetz, captured the Texas landscape in vivid detail, preserving its beauty through art. Today, she and Will are among the foremost protectors and collectors of his work. Carrying these legacies forward, their leadership at the Harte Research Institute remains at the heart of their mission.
They say that a really good marriage has a common mission, and I think our mission became, what do we do to promote the Harte Research Institute? How do we get involved? How do we stay involved? How do we appreciate what's going on? And so this has been a big part of our lives. It really has helped us stay in touch with the Gulf of Mexico and understand the resiliency of the Gulf.
Where I first met Will is when I was with Parks and Wildlife, the head of coastal fisheries. And we were in the middle of a big project buying shrimping licenses back. The shrimping fleet was too large, and rather than just drive them out of business, we came up with a program to buy those licenses back from many of them and to reduce the fleet to a manageable size. And Will came forward and helped organize private funds to come in and buy licenses and be part of that. And he led that effort, and that's where I first met Will, is when I was with Parks and Wildlife. And the rest, they say, is history. First of all, Will was, as the chair of the Harte Support Foundation, and along with his 2 board members, Joe Harnblower and David Sinak, they were with me from the very beginning. They're the ones who made sure that we had the money to do the things that we wanted to do. And more than that, they protected me from a lot of folks who would like to do something else with that money or change things. And then Pam came along, and between Will and Pam, they understood how important it was to get out from the trees and look at the forest from time to time. And that was so important for the Institute, for us to get out of the busy stream of things, go out to Caldwell in a great setting and bringing people from outside to work with us. That's what really changed and shaped HRI from the very beginning. And it was Will and Pam that did that.
Well, the family tie to this institute, Harte Research Institute, is the pathway for me. And I'm extremely happy at how it's turned out and continues to grow.
Through their work with the Harte Research Institute, Pam and Will understand that protecting water means protecting an entire system, from headwaters to open sea.
When I first met Will, he was working very closely with Larry McKinney and Andy Sansom. And one of the things that they thought about was creating this theme called Headwaters to Ocean H2O. And what that was about was Andy Sansom was in San Marcos and Larry McKinney was down here, and they were talking about how everything that happens within the rivers and the springs and the aquifers all through the state of Texas actually affect what happens down here. It mirrors us. I'm from Hunt, Texas. I grew up on the Guadalupe River, which eventually empties out here at the bay. And Will grew up in Corpus Christi, so we were connected all this time through water. My soul is on the Guadalupe River, and so of course I'm concerned about the quality of the water, the flow, the levels. It's all really important to me that other people get to experience what I had as a little girl.
In nature, every effort ripples outward. Pam and Will Harte believe everyone has a role in protecting the environment.
Often what I do is promote that your backyard or your front yard or your block is a place where you can invite pollinators or clean up the trash or take care of flood control or things that you can do within your own area or your parks or whatever it is as you volunteer.
That is a big part of Harte Research Institute, is engaging communities and helping them solve problems that ultimately could be problems in the Gulf of Mexico. So their outreach has been enormous, and I think the results are starting to show.
Everybody can be involved. You don't need a big piece of land to make an impact.
Don't give up.
The river does not end when it reaches the sea. It simply becomes something greater. So too does the work of those who protect the land and water.
I'd say I'm extremely honored to be here, and it's exciting, but you also recognize that there's a responsibility to continue the work and to reach people and to support the Rotary Club and all these other organizations that are making a difference.
It just causes me to want to work harder, so I earn it.
From headwaters to oceans, the work continues. In honor of their dedication, the Rotary Club of Corpus Christi presents Will and Pam Harte with the 2025 Conservationist of the Year Award.